right, so today's pillar for the 69 pillars of success is one that I'm very excited to share with you. It's a funny story from my upbringing, my high school life, that if I'd have been able to apply the principles we're going to talk about in this video to every area of my life, I would be a lot more successful today than I am right now. Not to say that I'm not successful, because I am, but I would be even more successful if I just could get over this need to be authentic all the time. And I'll explain what that means. This is a story from my high school days, and the title of this video is called Wooing the Art Teacher. So I had an art teacher that didn't take a particular liking to men, okay? And now she was married and had kids. In fact, I played basketball with her son on a basketball team when I was in middle school. But she didn't take a particular liking to the men that I was around. And I went through her class, I struggled, all right? And the premise of this video, the one thing I want to get across to you is, if the previous video about the smartest and the strongest and the most adaptable was the philosophy, this is the practical application of that. Now, I'm not going to use the art teacher's real name because, I mean, nobody's going to look her up because nobody cares, but, you know, I don't necessarily want to put this story about her out there. So we're going to call her Mrs. Jones. It's not her real name. That's what we're going to call her. And so, and by the way, she's not the bad guy in this story. I am. But in a really good way that's going to help you with your life. So Mrs. Jones did not like a number of the men in our class, the young men, for whatever reason. I don't know. Some ladies, you know, we were kind of manly men, football playing, kind of jock dudes, and she did not take a liking to us. She did take a liking to a number of the ladies in the class, though. One in particular who used to always get A's no matter what she did, because I think personality-wise, she and the art teacher got along a lot better than me and my class clown friends. Now, not to say that my artwork was great, but there were times where when I put in a lot of work, I thought I deserved better than a C-, but never could get above a C in her class. No matter what I did, she was either, your art is offensive, your art is this. I'm like, well, I thought the purpose of art was to get a reaction out of the audience. Like, how am I getting a C if it's doing that? Like, this is, like, art is such a subjective class anyway. But I would always get C's, and I just never got the impression that Mrs. quote-unquote Jones liked me very much. But I decided for the last term of that class, the last grading period, I was going to run an experiment. And I said, I am going to be the most polite. I'm not going to tell jokes in class anymore. I'm going to be the model student going forward. I stayed after every class to help her clean up the art room, put supplies away. I was brown-nosing. The difference is I was doing it on purpose, kind of sarcastically, to be a jerk. But it ended up having a positive effect. And I remember my friends, my best friend from high school, Patrick, was in the class with me. He's like, dude, you're such a jerk. You're brown-nosing this lady. Like, why are you doing this? I was like, I'm running an experiment. I just want to see, like, if I become a person that she likes, will I get a better grade than all these C's we keep getting? Because I think the reason I'm getting C's and the other female student always gets A's is not really our art. I think it's because she doesn't like us. And so I did that. So we got to the end of the term, and right before report cards were getting ready to go out and I was helping her clean up, I was getting ready to leave, she's like, Brian, come in my office for a second. So I went in her office, and she says, listen, you know, most of the time you've been in this class, you've been getting C's, because frankly, I think your artwork is sometimes offensive, it's crude, and it was, I'm not arguing that, or it's just not really well thought out and you're not that great at it. I said, okay, I don't necessarily agree with all of that, but that's fair. You're the teacher. You're obviously more skilled at art than I will ever be. She's like, but this term, I decided to give you an A-. And I said, what? She's like, well, you've just been such a joy to me. You've stopped joking around with the other boys. You've stopped being a smart aleck. You've tried to do better artwork, and you stay after every class to help me clean up and be helpful and pleasant. She's like, so I felt like it'd be fair to return the favor and do something nice for you because you've been such a joy to have in class. And I was thinking to myself, oh my God, my experiment worked. Because I didn't particularly like this teacher. Not as a person, I thought she was fine, but as a teacher, she bothered me because it's like, I feel like you're discriminating against me because my grades are tied to the fact that you don't like me. Like, how is that objective and fair? But I was like, crap, this experiment. And then when my boys found out, like, wait a minute, you got an A? How the hell did you get an A, you brown noser? I was like, but yeah, I was doing it like kind of ironically. And the whole point here is, to this title of the video called Wooing the Art Teacher. I know the title probably made people think it was a suggestive video. It's totally not. I was winning her over to my side by doing some of the things you'll learn in a book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it, called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it's really just putting other people's desires, values, and thoughts first, and respecting them as people. And even though what I was doing, I was kind of being a jerk because I was doing it sarcastically, at the end of the day, I was still being very helpful and very nice. Like, whether I was doing it ironically or not, I guess really doesn't matter, because I was nice, I was pleasant, I was helpful. And it put me in a situation where, even though you could argue that what I did was slightly manipulative, it put me in a situation where I was winning and everybody was happy, including the manipulated quote-unquote party. Now, fast forward to today, there's ways that you can do this without being manipulative. You can be genuine. I could have genuinely decided I want to help this person even though I don't like them, and even though they don't like me very much, and I can't really understand why, other than I'm a 15-year-old boy, which means it's behaving appropriately. You can show somebody love, dignity, and respect regardless of the fact of whether or not you like them. And by doing so, you can win favor with people by not manipulating them. That's not the point of this video, is to go manipulate a bunch of people. It's to take what I did and do it with genuine intent. Like, if I had just said, you know what, this person doesn't like me very much, I'm gonna work to get them to like me, because having them like me won't hurt anything, right? You can't make everybody like you. Some people, Var Ball says 50% of people are gonna like you, 50% of people are gonna hate you. I think the numbers are probably closer to 80-20, but that's fine. Depending on your personality type, maybe for him it is 50-50. So the point here is understand how to navigate the situation. And you really need to have an understanding of what I call social currency. You need to know the currency of the environment that you're in. Let me explain that. In the military, the currency is survival, okay? The desire is survival, and the currency is doing everything you can to make sure that you survive. So your decision making is focused solely upon surviving and winning fights, okay? In Fortune 500, the currency is money. So as a Fortune 500 senior manager, I was in a position where what the owner of this company, the billionaire, wants is more money. So the decisions I'm making and the actions I'm taking are centered around, in that first military example, keeping my soldiers alive. The second example, making more money for my billionaire boss, right? I've worked in environments too where the social currency isn't life and death. The social currency isn't more money. It's we want to feel important and we want to look good in front of other people. I've worked in environments where looking good was more important than actually getting the mission done. It's just the reality of the situation. I would rather look good than do the hard thing I'd rather my programs and services look good to people and sound good other than be good. I've been in that environment, right? And where I lost was I spent so much time trying to get them to make their programs and services better. In fact, I was in a meeting with a bunch of senior staff members telling them, like, guys, we're not in favor with the people we serve. Like, here's my plan to put some surveys together, get some feedback from our customers, and figure out. And they're like, we can't do that, and they didn't want to do it because it was going to be exposed that their programs and services, the word I would use is sucked, but the better way to say it, the more accurate way to say it, is they were less than amazing, right? They weren't hitting they weren't answering the mail as well as they could have, and we had some frustrated customers, but they were more interested in the programs looking and sounding good on paper than actually doing the hard work to make them work better, right? And the funny thing is the customers weren't stupid. They knew that the programs and services had challenges. But the bottom line was I couldn't be successful there because no matter how hard I tried to make things better, they were more interested in having their ego stroked, which is a very bad place to be in if you're me, okay? So, but the bottom line is you have to understand those different types of outcomes and currencies. And if you can understand that really all my art teacher wanted was the respect of the men in her class. I want you to come in, I want you to be respectful, I want you to work hard, and I want you not to make artwork CD cases about people farting on each other. Yeah, I did that. Or it wasn't farting. I think the name of my album was like Shecky. Like, one of our art projects was we had to make a music album cover. And my artist name, I think, was Shecky Shabazz. And the album was called Funky Draws. And so it had a pair of boxer shorts on a clothesline with funk coming off of them and knocking a guy out. It was hilarious to me. I don't know what she was thinking. But anyway, understand the social currency where you are, and you have two options. Either adapt yourself to play the game the way that the social currency in that environment demands, or find another environment to be in where your particular way of doing it is fitting. I mean, that's 100% why I started my own business. One of my mentors told me back in 2006, before I really got serious about my business, he's like, dude, you are never going to be fully satisfied until you were running your own empire. So why are you complaining about everything else is wrong? You got to build your own empire. It's the only way you're going to be satisfied. So I did. And so here we are. Understand the social currency. Learn how to adapt yourself to the environment that you're in. Hope you got a lot out of this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.